Ready, you can go.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome to, shall we say, to Europe and more specifically to the UK, because here today I'm very honored. Although I speak regularly with you, Robert, but
Yeah.
Robert is from Japan and he kindly came with his wife to enjoy a few summer days. And obviously, as always, we meet and brainstorm. I'm sorry if I'm carrying this piece
No,
of paper,
it's fine.
but I've already had a little casual conversation before, and I picked up some interesting points that we discussed. Um, so here's our friend Robert Koch. For those of you who want to be reminded, he builds those incredible handmade devices in Japan. He has a long history in the high end, very, very long, and he's got his ear finely tuned to music, although he started as an engineer. Is that a good little brief? Or
Well, first, thanks, Ricardo, for having me over. It's always great to be here, and although the autumn seems to be coming in pretty quickly this week, um, music. Well, my dad played a lot of music at home, and
Okay.
we all used to, go into the lounge and sit and listen to music. But he was also a not just a music connoisseur, but also technical aspect. Although that wasn't his work, he was in banking, but he was definitely very interested in the technical aspects of audio as much as the music. I think I'm probably around about there too.
yes, correct. Because one thing that I've learned over the years is that you're a fantastic engineer as well, and I want people to dissociate yourself from the fact that you just be assembling products without a lot of engineering background, and that's quite important. That you manage to use both to achieve your end goal, which is very, very special amplifiers and preamplifiers and phono stages.
Yeah,
Um,
thanks.
Early on, we were discussing about various possibilities of products.
Yeah.
Some are still in our minds and some might just happen. And we were talking about modularization,
Yeah.
components that you can add on different devices to make them sound better. And I'm not a great advocate of them, but I come from a different angle. But I would like you to explain, as an engineer, why you find it's got its limits.
Yeah, it's undoubtedly going to be a compromise. You have to already kind of know what sort of future modules you would be making if you're going to design something that will accommodate them. And that's immediately restrictive because you can't try something that's different that you might discover. A new circuit topology, for example, that requires a much higher voltage that's not available in the chassis. So now you end up pulling the whole thing apart. It's I wouldn't say it's the most efficient use of space, and it is limiting because you're not looking that far into the future. You're thinking about the kind of stuff that you're presently making, that's got to fit into the same little compartment. But what if you suddenly discover a tube circuit, for example, that works very well in tandem with the other parts of your product? You can't just slip it in. So you're restricted back to the ICs.
I agree with you. It's good from a marketing and a brand loyalty, marketing in the brand loyalties optics, but it's very limiting. We've seen it with many components where suddenly better preamps or better something come along, and then people
Well,
are
I'll give you an
limited.
example, Ricardo. If you look at the volume control, for example, in a K10, it's it's about that sort of length, and it's about 50 millimeter diameter tube. If you look at the volume control in a K15, it's almost 30 centimeters long, and it requires a completely different space to work in. So, you know, maybe the next volume control would be even bigger, in which case a better volume control. It wouldn't fit in. So if you try to modularize that, it would be
I
pointless.
completely agree, and this is what allows us to keep on progressing within carrying the legacy of the past. Now, early on we were discussing something else, digital. So can you clarify to your followers what is the spread of your listening hours? Is it all digital? Is it all analog, or is it pretty much divided?
Well, we kind of go into phases, and you'll be in the vinyl phase for a week or two, and then the digital phase for 2 or 3. So it probably works out about 60-40, depending on if I've been up to Tokyo and had a successful shop in the in the secondhand stores. And you
The
bring
vinyl
something-
stores.
Yeah, you bring it all home, and even though you're dead tired, you get it into the record cleaning equipment, and you want to play it straight away. So, yeah, but I think it's really about the way the music has been mastered that it makes a difference. You know, there's certain albums very good on digital, and other ones just better on analog. So it's definitely not a case of formats, one versus the other. There's good and bad on both, so it really depends on what you're listening to.
We completely align there. I feel that this debate of analog versus digital should be closed, especially in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And this is not a football match. It's not. We don't require one to be better than the other. They both got their virtues. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, yeah.
What makes your phono stage sensational? Tell me. I'm so curious.
There's a couple of aspects there. The first is an unusual use of very high voltage, 160 volts for a transistor circuit. Is particularly one that handles,
That's why
500 microvolt signal levels. It gives it a lot of, shall I say, thermal stability. The second thing is the way we introduce the rear equalization, where normally the